Good afternoon, I am Lorraine Brock and today is Tuesday, which means it is Tip Tuesday, and I am in my kitchen today going to give you guys some tips about in and under the cabinet. So my kitchen is definitely a little dated. It's probably the last area of our home that we're probably going to redo, but there is some organizational things that I have put in place that helps me maximize my space. One of the things I really don't like is when I'm trying to find something in the cabinets and I have glass plates or platters that are just stacked on top of each other, and it's very difficult to get to the one on the bottom. It takes some effort. Got to pull everything out. You got to put everything back in. And then when you use it and wash it, you got to pull everything back out and to put it back in. It's just, it's a hassle. And I look for ways to be really efficient in the space that I have with the things that I already have. Now, I am going to talk about some things that I bought. I don't go out and buy a lot of things like you guys would think I would. I use a lot of things like Velveeta Cheese boxes for some drawer organizers and things like that. So I'm going to just give you, I'm not even giving you a tip right now. I'm going to take this cord with me, make sure I'm not going to, and I'm going to just show you, and I did not do anything to my kitchen for this. So whatever ends up being in this drawer ends up being in this drawer. My cords are getting a little tangled here. So I told you I do like Velveeta cheese boxes, and I do use those for things that I'm wanting to use. So I'm going to try to turn this around so you guys can see. And this is one of my drawers here, and you can see I have a Velveeta cheese box right here. It's currently empty. I'm not even sure what I think it was used maybe for the scissors to go in, is what I think it was. Someone didn't put them back. But this is just one of my drawers. Nothing really fancy. I've used little plastic things here. You can see I've even used what I've got. One's white, one's gray. And then I've used a Velveeta cheese box. And you'll see this little theme throughout my kitchen that I will use some Velveeta cheese boxes in very different places. And I just like repurposing what I already have. So today we're going to be talking about in and under the cabinet. And I have two tips today to really show you, and really they're really two spaces, should I say, that you can look at the products that I have and see what I've done and hopefully do something very similar in yours. So today, the first tip number one is going to be on platters. And I mentioned that at the beginning of Tip Tuesday. So I'm going to take you guys underneath my stove area and let you guys see down here what I have done. So this is underneath our kitchen cooktop here. And I have added a few products that's going to really maximize my space. So number one, this is it's a very deep shelf. If you look towards the back here, it's probably at least a foot, maybe 15 inches deep. This particular shelf you'll find at Container Store. It is definitely not the least deep one. They have a deep one and a not so deep. It's the deepest. And I just went into the Container Store and I measured from, if you'll notice, I measured from the hinges to the other hinge over here because I have to get it in. Well, the unique thing about this particular shelf here is these legs actually will bend in a little bit. So once you get it past the hinge, it really is a good, tight, snug fit. Now, it is not locked down. It will definitely move. What I did was I put this in here, and it gave me a shelf by doing that. I have my tortilla warmer here. I have some cake decorating supplies that I use, and this is exactly how it looked. I didn't do anything to it to make it look good for today's segment. And then what I purchased was some of these, I'm not sure what they're called, but they're sorters, or what they're in their kitchen department. And if you'll look here, These are about, so 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. And then I have another one of those here that has 4 sections. Now this one happens to have tall little dividers here. There is one that has a shorter divider. And to be honest with you, both would work. I had the actual shorter one in here earlier before I actually landed on liking what I had here. The shorter one did work. It did hold up these larger platters, not a problem at all. But I did think about, you know, if the platter could be so tall that maybe it would tip over, or I don't know. I probably just being a little bit more secure in going with something a little bit taller here. I did not connect these or attach these to down here, but you could. What if you know you want to keep it here and you're okay with drilling into your cabinets, you can get some really short little wood screws with what's called a camel hook. And a camel hook is where you would actually take right here and screw it in, and then the hook actually humps over to this side and screws down. So that hump there is what is called a camel hook, and it will secure this down if you want. So I have, this is just sort of a plastic plate. Football season's coming up, and I put it there. This is something my mother gave me, and we used a lot growing up. So it's a heavier plate. It says hamburgers, and it's just a plate that my mother, oh, you can tell, she actually wrote her name on the back. Must have been for a potluck. Yes, Morrison was my maiden name. And I just put this right back into the slot there. And then I have various platters that I use. And you'll notice here, because I do some cake decorating, I have my cake boards here when I need extra. These are little, just little things that I would use at the table. This is more like a chalkboard placemat if I want the kids to do something fun on, the grandkids or something. And this is more of an insulated thing over here that I would use for taking, you know, food to a potluck or something. So this has really maximized my space. Before I got this, everything was just setting on this, and I was lucky to use this much space, you know, from a pot to a crock pot. And I would waste all this space at the top. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a shelf in here. I didn't have items that could really stack. And even if they could stack, it wasn't really a good idea to try to access it really quickly. It just wasn't a great solution. So anyway, this is a really good tip, is to get one of these shelves. And you can do this under a lot of different places underneath your counters, whether it's underneath the stove or you're wanting to put, you know, crock pots and stuff down below, and then put, you know, more your skillets and stuff up top. Now this again is a heavy duty shelf. It's not the white wire one you normally would see in your cabinets, like pantry areas. Those are not as heavy duty and they will not support as much weight. But I went with this one, and I also wanted it to be really tall here so my platters could actually go in. So that is tip number 1 of an idea that you can use underneath your cabinets. Would be a great place. And lastly, notice here, these are little areas that you can actually hook on another one of these if you wanted them inside of let's say a bottom of a closet, or you wanted to stack them in a garage. These little feet right here would go into here, and it would just keep going up the wall. So again, really sturdy. They come in different sizes, so look for them at the Container Store. So that is tip number 1. And we're going to walk over here to an area. I have a chair here so I can get up in case I need to. But the next area for tip number 2 is going to be above the microwave. This is obviously an area that some people have a really hard time for. I probably, if I'm standing, the top of my head comes to right here. So this is not as high as some people's above the microwave would be, but it's definitely high. And I definitely cannot reach all the way in the back from the floor, just standing on the floor. And not only that, this goes way up. And I don't even have anything, I think, appliance that tall. So here's a few solutions that I came up with that has helped me maximize my space. So let's start in the very back here, and I'm going to get up here and let you see. So I used another one of those wire shelves. Maybe you guys can see in the very back. This one is not as deep, I don't think, as the other one, because what I didn't want to happen, I didn't want this cabinet, this shelf in the back, to actually come really close to the front, because I had other things that I wanted to put here. And so this shelf is back here. And if I was to move these like TV trays, you can see at the bottom of the leg there. And I put some heavy duty skillets that I rarely ever use. And just some things like things I would use for picnics or outdoor meals to cover the food, an ice, a bucket, just things I don't really use a lot. I use this thing right here for coffee in the winter when we're sitting on the back porch. So that will come out. Well, then there's some other things, some thermoses and stuff. But again, things that I'm not really utilizing very often. It's on the very back of this cabinet, and it goes up, so it allows me, at least with a step stool, to have access to it. If you look right here at the very beginning, I'm going to get down here and get back. If you look at the very beginning, right here at the very front right there, I had two things that I kept in this cabinet that I or three things that I didn't want to move when I reorganized it. One was the TV trays to the left there that are standing up. We access those periodically. I needed them to be very easy to get to. Number two was my Walmart type Target bags at the very bottom down here. I needed to be able to grab those for various things that I use, so I wanted them easily accessible. The third thing is right there is those bags, and everybody has these, from shopping bags that you get free to people give you things, you pick up things, and they're not anything like really near and dear. Some of them are paper, some of them are fabric that I just get free when I go somewhere, and I do try to keep that to a minimum. Like if I start getting too many, I will go through them and keep various sizes, different sizes, and then get rid of the rest. So those were the three things I wanted to keep at my fingertips without having to get way in the back there or get a step stool. And this is what I came up with. These are at Container Store, and these are reach-in. I didn't want to have to pull anything out, take a lid off of them. And I'm trying to see if I can get to the side over here that you can see. These are, they're pretty long. I guess they're probably about 15 inches deep. And that worked for me. And it only worked because I went with a shelf back there that was not as deep as the one we saw underneath the stove. So again, one of the things about our organizers, and including myself, is we're really good about maximizing space. I think if anything, if you hired a professional organizer to come in, I think the really good thing that you can think about of what a professional organizer does is not only do they make it look beautiful and function, but they can maximize space. It's like if you organized your home, you could get like 20% more space than you think you already have. Really, you already have that space. You're just not maximizing it. You're not utilizing it. So those are the two areas today that I wanted to give you guys some tips on, and obviously a few products that you guys can go back and use it to maximize your space in and underneath your cabinets. So if you have any questions about those products, make a comment down below and I'll be glad to find them on the Container Store. But all of those products I showed you did come from Container Store, and fabulous products that worked really well for me. All right, so I'm going to announce this last week's winner. We were giving away these little cute little boxes that you can put. I always thought about putting these little boxes in like your jewelry drawer for when you have loose stones or missing pieces, because jewelry can get lost so quickly, and they're so tiny and little. I thought it would be a great idea if you use these for something like that. So this is going to be, I'm going to show you guys here. This is going to be we gave this away last week, and this is going to Annette Berg. Annette, congratulations. We've got 3 of these cute little things that we're going to get out in the mail to you. And congratulations on winning those this week or last week. You made a comment down below and we appreciate that. All right, so what are we giving away this week? So every Tuesday on Tip Tuesday, we give away something that helps you guys stay organized in your home, business, or life. This week is something that I use every single day, and it stays in my purse every single day. And these are little plastic envelopes. One's still actually in its plastic wrap, but there's 2 of them we're giving away. And so 1 winner, 2 envelopes. And I keep these in my purse for, I do a lot of gift cards where I actually go buy gift cards at Kroger and get the points, and then I use that to purchase the things that I need to. And so I use these a lot in my purse to keep gift cards or cash. There's a pocket in the back. You can use them to keep receipts in, or you can use them to keep certain types of around town coupons in. I keep these. I have 2 of them in my purse, and I actually label them what they're for. Some are more see-through than others, so if you're going to keep cash in something, I'd probably use the darker one. But we're giving these away to someone. Next Tip Tuesday, we'll announce the winner. And how do you win? Just leave a comment down below, any comment at all about a product question or about a question about your kitchen or which tip you like the most, and you'll be entered for our drawing for these cool little cute envelopes. All right, so our Tip Tuesday tool of the week. So every week we pick a product that's all about getting organized, something that either I like or that I came across. And we have our little box here that's called our Tip Tuesday tool of the week. And I've picked something, I'm in the kitchen, so I found something that I really like and I'm going to show you guys. And I've got 3 different sizes to show you. So these are clear type drawer inserts. You don't, like I said earlier at the beginning of the episode, I told you I even use Velveeta Cheese boxes for inside my drawers. And if you're just coming live on, just know that I'll try to give you another peek of my Velveeta Cheese box in one of my drawers, and I haven't organized it or even picked it up any, so you'll see all the glory. But these I use in my kitchen more for my utensils and stuff, like accessories. And these are all my measuring spoons. And yes, I have 3 different sets. I have an orange, white, and this is a really cool set right here. I actually got it at an estate sale. And it all, it's like a magnet, it magnetizes together. One end is a solid and one end is a liquid. And great product for maximizing space. So one of my containers is all of my measuring spoons. I have another one for all my corn on the cob type holders. And then I have a larger one for different things like my brush, my peeler, things like that. I got this, I got to show you this. I got this like probably when I was a young bride, been married 31 years, and Tupperware parties were the thing. I mean, you could go to the Tupperware party, and we had a great Tupperware rep when I worked that would just, everybody in the company would do a Tupperware party. This was one of the free gifts that I got, but it is a plastic little thing with a little sharp edge here. And if you're wanting to peel oranges really quick, you just take it and slice just the skin of the orange, and the orange peels off really easily. So this has sort of been like, it's like 30 years old. It was a free gift at a Tupperware party. Love that kind of stuff. That was a bonus tip, I guess. But back to these products, love them. I have got these at Home Goods. Sometimes you'll see them at Lowe's. Lowe's has the larger ones normally, but sometimes you'll see these, obviously Container Store. Walmart has a brand called Mainstay. One of the things I like about these and why I didn't go with more plastic is because they have rubber little tips on the bottom. So when the drawer that they go in closes, they don't shift. And I like that. Now, if let's say you have something similar to this, a drawer divider, and you're like, I don't want to go buy something just because of these tips. A little bit of an idea that you can use on your cabinets is you can try some tacky stuff that you'd put on the back of walls and posters. Another thing you can use in the drawer, not on walls, is museum putty. Museum putty is clear. You probably haven't heard about it very much, but if you will take a little bit, put it on the bottom, press down, and leave it for like 20 or 30 minutes. When you come back, it won't move. What we did, we went on an RV trip a few years ago, and we had a glass or plastic bottle. This is not it, but it was a plastic bottle about this size for a hand pump soap. And I didn't want to take it and kept putting it away every time we were driving the RV. So we put the museum putty on the bottom, stuck it down to the cabinet, let it get, solid. And then we drove around through 15 states with that thing, and it didn't move once. And it comes up rather clean, especially on the type of kitchen services and drawers. I've never had a problem, but don't put it on walls. It's not designed for walls. Or anything that's going to be a hot environment where it could melt or be runny. It needs to be inside on things that would come up easily, glass or countertops, things like that. So I love these. These are, actually the name brand is called Inner Design, but there is so many off-name brands that you could use that would actually do the exact same thing in an almost identical look as well. So that is our Tip Tuesday tool of the week. Okay, next Tip Tuesday. I actually had a last minute change. We were going to be on location at someone's home that I've never seen before, and we were going to actually just basically walk through her home and give her tons of ideas for you guys, and spur the moment type thing, and I'd have to come up with an idea. We're still going to do that, but it's going to be a little bit out. So next week, I'm going to be on the road for Austin. We have to go somewhere for some kind of government ID thing for traveling. So I'm going to have my husband on with me, and we're going to do a segment called How Do You Get Your Husband to ... And most of the time those questions come from me when I'm doing speaking is, how do you get him to pick up? How do you get him to put things back where they belong? How do you how do you get him to start decluttering or organizing something in his space, or even in the garage or his office or something? And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk to my husband, so we're going to get some feedback from him. I'm going to tell you what I do to get my husband a little bit more motivated, or at least he'll do it. He may not be happy about it, but eventually he'll do it. And we're going to discuss sort of some real practical advice for getting hubby to do things. If you have a great husband that organizes and keep things neat, maybe it's you that needs the motivation, and maybe your husband needs to be watching next week, or you share the video with him, because I think it's going to be really good on how to motivate and work with each other. I'm more driven to get it done, organize it, knock it out, not procrastinate. My husband's a little different. He's not on the far end of procrastinating, but definitely is not as quick to do things as I am. And sometimes I need it done now. How do you motivate someone to get that stuff done? So we're going to talk about that next week with my husband on, and we'll do that as we're traveling to Austin. We will somehow during the day make some time on the road to do Tip Tuesday, and we'll have a fun time doing it. All right, so a highlight of one of Go's services I want to mention every week, I always mention something, is if you are in the middle of a home renovation or remodel or a complete rebuild, know that our team can come in and completely take down and pack up your home, give you an organized pack, even if it's one room. We recently did my husband's computer room, and we're not quite done yet. And we're going to definitely do a Tip Tuesday in there. But I tell you what, it's a lot of work. We had to declutter as we were packing. We had to wrap things up, even though they were going out into the garage. These were electronics and fragile items, and they couldn't just be all thrown in a box because they were valuable, and definitely would cost a lot of money to replace a lot of these things. So our team can come in and pack you up. They can, when you're ready to be in that new space, they can come in and unpack, completely set it up, decor, shopping, sometimes even some new furniture items. Our organizers, many of them have an eye for just a wow factor. So keep in mind, if you're going again through a painting, a renovation, or a new build, we can actually help on both ends of that. If you're in one of our areas that we service, and Get Organized can come in and make that transition a little bit better for you guys under the stress of renovation. Our kitchen's the next thing we'd like to do. Who knows when we'll do it, but I can tell you now that a kitchen's going to take probably a few months, and it's just no cooking and dust everywhere. It's going to be just horrible. I'm not looking forward to it, and I'm trying to postpone it as long as possible. But there is some aging going on that needs to be looked at. All right, so lastly, before we sign off, make sure if you're going to be in the drawing for next week for these really convenient, handy plastic envelopes. They have pockets on the back and snaps on the front. Make sure that you leave a comment down below. Any comment will put you in the running for the drawing, and we'll announce you next week on Tip Tuesday if you've won, and then mail them out to you. So before we sign off, as promised, I'm going to try to take you guys over to one of my drawers again that has some boxes. Well, this one's may not. This is my junk drawer. So listen, I'm an organizer, people, but I'm really going to show you. Let's see what happens in here. See how organized it is. It's not bad. There's definitely, this did not get put in here by me, for sure. That must have been my husband. And random tie, that doesn't go in there. Definitely the hardware goes in there, the glues. Yeah, so it's pretty good. But you notice here what I'm using. I'm using these Velveeta cheese boxes, and I'm using the cardboard part of them. And I'm telling you guys, it may not look like a magazine perfect drawer, but it does help with organization. And being that it's football season, every once in a while we'll have queso, and I use that artificial no good Velveeta cheese for you. Oh, yes, I do. The no good Velveeta cheese. Actually bought some on the grocery list this weekend. So don't know when I eat the plastic stuff, but it is sure good when we eat it. But we're trying to be good, but I'll probably break the rules on that. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining us on Tip Tuesday, guys. Love to hear your comments down below, and definitely tune in next Tip Tuesday when we talk about how to get hubby motivated. And we're going to actually talk with my husband to see what he has to say about this. So we'll post the actual time, hopefully, as it gets closer, so be able to plan for it. Well, I'm Lorraine Brock with Get Organized, helping you get your home life and business organized. Have a great week, guys. We'll see you later.